Hello again, so it's makeup tutorial time. I actually hesitate to call this a tutorial because it's really just showing you how I do my own makeup. I'm returning to work next week after being on maternity leave for about 10 months. Has to be done, so I'll be back at work, and to be honest, a little worried about how I'm going to manage the whole morning routine of getting myself ready for work in addition to getting my 4-year-old and my 9-month-old baby ready to go off to childcare as well, and then also get myself to work early enough in order to leave early to pick them up again. So it's the usual juggling act that mums have to do, I guess. So I needed a makeup routine that I knew exactly what I was doing, that I can wear the same products every day, so it needed to be fairly neutral colours that would go with both warm and cool tones in my clothing. So I've done a few practice runs of what makeup I might wear, and what I'm wearing at the moment is what I've pretty much come down to. Yeah, this is my everyday work makeup, so if you'd like to see how I created this look that I'm wearing at the moment, keep watching. So starting off with the base, I'm using a combination of the Bourjois Healthy Mix Foundation and the L'Oreal Lumi Magique Pure Light Primer. When I bought this foundation some time ago, I didn't realise there were two different versions, and I've since heard that perhaps the serum version would be better for my dry skin. But anyway, just a bit of foundation and some of the primer, a little less of the primer on the back of my hand, mix it together and then just apply that to my face, just pretty much dot it over different areas, making sure I also put some on my neck, and then I use my fingers to blend it out. I prefer to use my fingers rather than a brush because I think it melts the product into your skin really well. And I think brushes need to be clean, and I don't have the time or the energy to be cleaning a foundation brush all the time. So just distribute that over my face, make sure it's blended in nicely. Then onto concealer. This is the Rimmel Match Perfection 2-in-1 Concealer and Highlighter in the colour Ivory. Comes in a tube with a little brush on the end that you squeeze the product into and then apply it to your face. I tend to put this just in the inner corners of my eyes where it's a bit dark. Don't really have particularly bad under eye circles, and I don't go too high because I don't want it to settle into the fine lines under my eyes. Also a bit around my nose where there's some redness, and a bit usually on the upper lip as well where there's some pigmentation that tends to make it look like a bit of a shadow there. Using the Real Techniques contour brush just to blend that concealer into my skin. I find it's a nice soft brush for this purpose. And then once I've done this concealing, I then go on to conceal any blemishes on my face, which I use a stick concealer for. I'm using this Nutrimetics one, which is no longer available unfortunately, but one of my favourite ones of all time, and I do have quite a few blemishes at the moment to cover. My skin's not in great condition unfortunately. Using the Real Techniques detailer brush for this step, and what I do is just dip the brush into the concealer. It's actually a wind up stick concealer, but I just dab the brush in there, get some product onto the brush, and then I just apply that basically to the blemishes that I want to conceal. So I just draw that onto the blemishes initially, and then I'll pat that in with my fingers and blend it into my skin, and then any blemishes that are still visible after that step, I'll go back in with a little less product on the brush and use that to just dab very lightly onto the blemishes that are showing through and do some really fine detail work, and just keep basically tapping that concealer into the skin until the blemishes disappear completely and make my skin look flawless. My daughter pops in at this point to say hello and then goes back to doing her own makeup. Onto eye primer. I'm using the Face of Australia matte eye primer. It's a cream product. Just get a little onto my finger, and that's enough to do both of my eyelids. Try not to use too much product here because this does actually spread quite well, this one. Now onto blusher. I'm using this Savvy by DB lipstick as a cream blush, which I tend to do. This one is in the colour Pretty Pink, and it's just like a really nice dusty pink almost, I guess, and just draw that onto the cheeks there, sort of towards the outer edge, I suppose, and on the cheekbone, and then blend that in with my fingers. It tends to actually even contour a little with my really pale colouring. So just pat that in until it's nice and well blended, and then obviously go on and do the same to the other side. Onto the eyes, this is the Maybelline Colour Tattoo in Bad to the Bronze. It's just a lovely bronze colour, as the name suggests. Just a small amount of product there, and tap that onto my eyelids, just using this as a base for the rest of my eye makeup. So try not to be too heavy-handed with the product. Just pat that lightly all over both eyelids. Now onto the eyeliner. This is a Rimmel ScandalEyes kohl pencil in number 3 brown. It's a really lovely, soft, creamy kohl pencil, this one. I don't tend to use black eyeliners because I find it too harsh with my colouring. I prefer a brown, and this is a really nice deep shade of brown. So just drawing it onto the lash line there, trying to get into the roots of the lashes as well. Not worrying about being too precise, just basically getting a line there for some definition. I'm going to blend it out anyway. Just make sure that the pigment's deposited there along the lash line, and then go on obviously to do the same on the other eye. Once I've done that, I then just use my finger to blend the upper or the outer edge of that line, just to smoke it out a little bit and take away the harshness from it. Onto the eyeshadows. I'm using this Eyeshadow Collection palette from BOE Beauty that I've spoken about previously, and the colours that I'm going to use is 2 colours from the top corner here diagonally down. So a pale pink and a sort of taupey brown colour as well. Using the Eyeshadow eyeshadow brush, taking the darker colour, which I guess you'd say is a warm taupey grey brown colour almost. Fairly decent amount of pigmentation in this colour, just basically depositing that colour onto the eyelid, all over the lid and up into the socket there. With my eyeshadow, I tend to just pack all the different colours on and then blend it out at the end, so don't really build up slowly, I just whack it on there. And because I have hooded eyes, I also like to extend that darker colour out past my crease, because when my eyes are open you can't really see the eyelids, so I extend that colour up and out past my crease so that it almost makes like a false shadow of a socket there. It gives my eyes a bit more shape and definition, particularly when they're open. So I do the same on the other side, and then I go back in and just add a little more just to make sure that that colour is visible and that my eye shadow is even on both eyes there. So once that's done, I just get some of that pale pink colour and apply that to the brow bone with my finger, just pat that on there as well. This is one of my favourite colours in the palette actually. It's a nice matte sort of pale pink, which is a great highlight colour. Just trying to show you the close-up of the 2 colours I've used there in case you have something similar at home. I then get a cotton tip and go back into that pale pink and just put a bit of that on the inside corner of both eyes. There's a bit of a highlight there as well. So this is the eyeshadow just packed on there. You could leave it like this if you wanted to look like a crazy person, or you could go on and blend it in, which I'm going to do with this Real Techniques domed eyeshadow brush. So just blending the eyeshadow, starting with the palest colour because I don't want to smudge the dark colours up onto my brow bone there. So start with the palest colour, basically just blending the colours together, blending the colours into my eyelid and also removing any excess product at the same time. So from time to time I also wipe this brush on a clean tissue and just continue blending. Then what I do is just get a clean cotton round and sweep it upwards at the outside of my eye just to remove any eyeshadow that may be below my eye there. I don't want it to pull my eyes down, and that's just showing you the eyeshadow, one blended and one not, to show the difference. Then once it's all blended out, I go back in with that darker brown colour and the same eyeshadow brush and use that to line my lower lash line, just to give a bit of definition into the roots of the lower lashes there, and then use the same domed eyeshadow brush to just lightly blend that out as well. Then I get this fluffy powder brush from Natio and just use it to lightly dust my face, to dust off any fallout that there might be from the eyeshadow that I just used. Now it's time for powder. Loving the Australis Fresh and Flawless powder. This is in natural, just using a big fluffy powder brush from Beauty Essentials, which is a Priceline brand. Swirl that into the powder, tap off the excess, and then apply that to my face, mainly in the T-zone, and over any concealer that I applied earlier, just to set that. Try not to go too heavily over my cheeks, because I just think powdery cheeks are really aging and unflattering. Now using the Rimmel Natural Bronzer in number 22 Sun Bronze as a contour, and the BOE Beauty Compact Powder Brush that I bought recently, mainly concentrating around my jawline where I don't have much definition, and down my neck. Also do in front and behind my earlobes, and basically the sides of my face up to my temples as well, to contour. Then after that I go on to my blush. I'm using the Cargo High Definition Blush and Highlighter in Peach. That's what it looks like. There's quite a gold fleck in there, but doesn't really show up on the skin. Using the NATO blusher brush to put that onto my cheeks, basically onto the apples, and blending it out. It's quite pigmented, this blush, although a light colour. And then I'm using the Eco Tools. This is like a domed kabuki brush, just to blend out the edges of that blush to make sure that there's no harsh lines there. Curling my lashes. This is a Revlon eyelash curler. And then going on to mascara, and I'm using the Sleek waterproof mascara. Waterproof's a good option for me for work because I wear contact lenses, and the air conditioning can dry out my eyes and make them water. And this mascara, I often forget I've got it, but I'm always impressed at the finished product after using this one on my bottom and top lashes. Onto the brows. This is the Milani Easy Brow Pencil. It's got a waxy pencil at one end and a spoolie at the other. Just using light feathery strokes to fill in my fairly sparse brows, concentrating most of the definition at the arch there, and just showing a close-up of the method I'm using here. Just short strokes to mimic the hairs of the brows basically, and just keep working on them until I'm happy with the definition, and do the other side as well, obviously making sure that both brows are even. I then go on to use the spoolie brush and just brush it through my brows to smudge out any of those lines from the pencil. Then getting a cotton tip and just cleaning up any smudges that I might have made when I was doing my brows. And it's onto brow gel. This is the one by the Body Shop, which isn't the cheapest, but it's really good and it lasts for literally years, this product. Starts off clear and then gets more and more brown from the eyebrow product. That's the eyes finished. Time for the lips. I'm using the Revlon Just Bitten Kissable Balm Stain. This one is in Romantic. It's quite a bright tomatoey red colour. Just basically draw that onto my lips and blot with a tissue, and then I'm going to pop on some Maybelline Baby Lips colour in Berry Crush as well, just for a bit of extra moisture. A close-up here of the finished eye makeup, the cheeks, and also the lips as well. I've put on an outfit that I would normally wear to work, just so you can see what the finished look is, I suppose. I've also done a previous video on my work wardrobe, so I'll link that one down below. So there's my look. I'll probably be updating it sometime if anything changes. Hope that was helpful for you, and I'll see you all again very soon. How's it look? Show me.